Hi, this is the overview for all three lessons of 1 John. 1 John is one of those letters that's worth spending 3 weeks in. There are some big questions and big issues in this letter. What's the essential quality of a believer? Is there one verse that sums up the Christian life? After reading Paul and Peter, what we find in John's letters will fall right in line. John wrote this after many churches were established, probably in the 60s AD and before the persecution by Nero. What marked this time was the rise of false teaching in the church. God, of course, knew it would come, and so he used this rise in false teaching as a help for us to see the apostles address the issues. In dealing with false teaching, John will also express in his unique way the focus of disciples following Christ in the harvest. I would suggest reading through the letter and making notes of words that repeat. Some of these words will be love, abide, fellowship, and a few others. One help you'll have is John's gospel. Some of the ideas in the letter run parallel to things John says in his gospel, and you might be able to get help by looking there to understand what John is saying here. So generally, I would summarize the letter in part of the first lesson and relate it to our situation, and then find 3 good points for each week. Mention some of the questions in this letter. How, for example, do you know that a person's saved? What about a person who redefines sin? What about a person who walks away from Christ? Regarding the command to love one another and the word abide, it would be good to look at John 13 through 17, especially chapter 15. In 1 John 2, 12 through 14, where John refers to children, fathers, and young men, look at times that Jesus refers to his disciples as children. Some people think that here John is referring to everyone with these 3 titles. One thing that makes this letter surprisingly up to date is the redefining going on in our world regarding sexual identity, gender, race, and the question, what is truth? More than ever, it seems that evil is being redefined as good, and this seems to be what John was writing about. One of the exercises in this letter is to hold the line on eternal security and yet interpret some of the hard verses in that light. If a person can't lose their salvation, what does it mean that people have gone out from us? Look at passages like Matthew 7, 13 through 27 to see that Jesus explained things as becoming mixed up and that it might be difficult to tell if a person is a believer because of their fruit and their lifestyle, even if they make all the right noises. 1 John 3, 4 through 6 get into the gray areas of who is and who isn't saved, but God knows. Paul knew this was going to be a problem in the church, and he told Timothy in 2 Timothy 2:19, "But the Lord knows those who are his, and let everyone who names the name of the Lord depart from iniquity." Paul and Timothy both struggled with this in their church experience, leading churches. The sure indicator of true faith is that a believer loves Christ, and though they sin, they keep coming back and asking for forgiveness, and they keep following. Actually, the distinguishing hallmarks of a believer are love for Christ, abiding in him, and keeping his word. Those 3 things right there would give you lessons for all 3 weeks. As the storm clouds get nearer, the sky is getting darker, and we need light, wisdom, and clarity. 1 John 1:7 says, "But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Jesus Christ his Son cleanses us from all sin." Maranatha.